Hello, today I will show you how to play Rogue, the most fun brawl, dive, vanguard character in Marvel Rivals, in my opinion at least. I'm gonna go over her playstyle, her abilities, her counters, and some tips and tricks on when you play her. All of this is useful not just for Rogue players, but also people who want to play Rogue potentially, and people who have to go up against her. Could kind of figure out what her next move might be and stuff like that. First up, her abilities. Rogue has in total 5 abilities. These would be Defensive Stance, Sovereign Brawl, Chrono Kick Combo, Fatal Attraction, and Ability Absorption. And there's also her primary, which is pretty much just her punching with left, right, and then both arms in the third time. First up, Defensive Stance. This is not a typical shield from like Magneto or Strange. It doesn't negate any damage, it only reduces it. Projectiles that would usually not hit Rogue will then be attracted to the said shield and will be absorbed by them. Out of Defensive Stance follows Sovereign Brawl. Sovereign Brawl can only be used if you are using Defensive Stance in that moment. The absorbed damage in Defensive Stance will be used in Sovereign Brawl to inflict more damage to your enemies. Now, this usually doesn't last long enough to absorb enough energy in that time frame, so it might as well not do anything. But it could be potentially useful if there's a lot of damage coming towards you and you kind of absorb it, but it doesn't make much of a difference. Sovereign Brawl is a dash that also has a partially ranged ability. As you can see, it can go up a few meters and then hit that person, even though with your primary you would not be able to hit them from that perspective onwards. Chrono Kick Combo. The Chrono Kick, in the Chrono Kick you will dash into the direction you're looking at and then kick upwards. You'll be floating in the air for a few seconds and you can decide if you want to dive down onto your enemies or just float a little bit till you just kind of lose the option to do so. When you use the ability, your primary attack will be replaced by 2 kicking projectiles. The range of these projectiles is up to 20 meters. They do a nice amount of damage, and they also pierce through enemies, which lets you do more damage on multiple people at the same time with one kick. These kicks have to be used fast, they are on a timer, and if you use one of the kicks, the timer is just gonna be applied, like the rest of the timer is just gonna be applied to the next kick. In total you have 4 seconds to use both of them, or just one of them, and then waste the other. While using the ability, you will be launching any enemies in your path upwards and you will take them down with your dive. Next up is Fatal Attraction. Fatal Attraction is at its first use just a regular dash. If you hit someone, you will bump them backwards and you will apply damage to them. If you activate the ability a second time, this will cause a circle to form around you, but that does ticking damage to anyone in it. After a few seconds, the circle retracts into you and enemies will be dragged towards you. Ability Absorption. This ability lets you basically just absorb the ability of any other character, if that character doesn't actually have any abilities for you to take, because they are just a regular person that does not have any powers, such as Black Widow, Bucky, Captain America, or like Hawkeye. Then you will just get a reset for your Fatal Attraction cooldown. Rogue can absorb and use a total of 31 different abilities taken from the other heroes, and these are Hulk's Clap, Storm's Boost, Regenerative Domain, Doctor Strange's Shield, Mantis' Sleep, Hela's Orb, Dagger's Bubble, Cloak's Blinding, Groot's Iron Wall, Magic's Portal and the Minion Spawn, Luna's Snowball, Squirrel Girl's Jump, Venom's Tether, Spider-Man's Uppercut, Magneto's Self Bubble, Wanda's Stun Bubble, Thor's Lightning, Namor's Squid, Adam's Soul Bond, Jeff's Bubbles, Psylocke's Invincibility, Wolverine's damage reduction and his passive. So if you get down to 0 health, you will get a bit of overshield that will then turn into regular health after a few seconds. Iron Fist's recovery, Invis's push and pull, Thing's damage reduction and knockback immunity when the ability is activated. The thing about this ability is it doesn't work quite like how Thing is using it. When you use it with Thing, you have to jump towards an enemy or a teammate, and then this effect will be applied to you. Rogue does not do that. Rogue only gets the benefits from it, and she does not jump to the next person. Human Torch's Flame Fields. This will make a triangle around you made of flames. Emma's Diamond Form. This will give damage reduction to you and, of course, stun immunity. Phoenix's Stun. Blade's Vampire Mode. Daredevil's Sonic Pursuit. It acts like his exact Sonic Pursuit, so if you get a KO or a final hit, this will basically just reset it and you can use it again. Gambit's Breaking Spades. And these are all of them. She will also say the right voice line according to the used ability. Next up, we have her team up. This team up is with Gambit and it's hard as one. Gambit is the anchor for this one, and Rogue gains a new ability that she can activate at any point if the cooldown isn't up. Activating this ability will make all of Rogue's punches and projectiles she does do more damages and cause explosions that inflict damage on enemies nearby. Those same explosions will also heal allies. Little heads up, like I said, it only counts for projectiles and punches. Fatal Attraction Circle will not be affected by this. Any ticking damage will not actually result in explosions. And now her ultimate, the most interesting part of her kit. This ultimate takes ultimate charge from other enemies, making them unable to ult, and they have to get it back by fighting or healing, depending on what role they are. If the ultimate charge is below 80%, you won't be able to steal any of it. Meanwhile, if it's at 100%, you'll be able to steal up to 20% in total from one target. While ulting, you are also going to take perks from your enemies, depending on what role they are. Vanguards will give you their max health, they will lose it, you will gain it, and you can get up to a total of 1075 max HP. From strategists, you are going to gain self-healing. They will have a healing reduction from then on, until your ultimate ends. Duelists will give you a damage boost, and vice versa. Like I said before, they're going to lose something, it's going to be their damage, the damage that they can do. The ultimate lasts for about 8 seconds, and afterwards, all the perks that you've gained will be completely gone, and everyone gets their stuff back. Rogue is best played in team fights as a brawl character or some kind of dive character. Due to her not having an overshield ability like Venom, a nice shield like Captain America, or the other shield tanks, Strange and Magneto, and because her cooldowns are kind of long, diving can be a little bit difficult. When playing her, it's pretty much about these 3 things. Number 1, cooldown management. You do not want to use all of your cooldowns at once most of the time, because then you'll have no escape path in case you get grabbed by someone, you get stunned, and a lot of damage gets applied to you. Or if you're just low, you need to get out of there. Combos to execute. Doing enough damage in a short enough time frame is pretty much everything in this game, and this also goes for Rogue. So you gotta have good combos in. Now, there is this one suggested combo that the developers have for every single character in the game. You can do that, but quite often you do not need to learn any combos with Rogue, kind of. You just need to know how to use your abilities and then just press the next one. It's not that difficult, honestly, to just press your abilities. Next difficult thing, though, is finding the balance between diving and supporting the front lines. As Rogue, you do not want to abandon your team for the whole match and then just come back for heals. You are not just a dive character, you are a tank, and as a tank, you have to help your supports, and just in general, just help your team. You want to be on the front lines, punch the tanks, kill the tanks, or just overwhelm them. And then you can also just go back to diving if you'd like. Thank goodness, we finally made it to the part where I'm actually gonna commentate on some of my gameplay that I've done. This is one of my better games that I've done. Actually, no, this is just a normal game that I've done. I had to swap at some point, but that's of course one of the important things when playing this game. Know when to swap when a character isn't working. This might look very complicated at first, but like, it's just because I'm moving so rapidly. Personally, it's not that overwhelming, or like, it doesn't really look that overwhelming when I play. Maybe it's just because I have fast perception. But you can always slow down the video if you'd like. Basically what I'm doing here now, I've stopped punching the tank, went from frontline to backline, started punching him. I'm doing some good damage, but out healing each other, and I've noticed that I'm not getting healed, so I just kinda need to get out of there. Very important, you need to know when the party's over and you have to get out, because then you're just gonna die, and you don't want that to be on the board. Scoreboard, of course, but you know, it's not just for that, you also don't want to be feeding. You want to distract the healers and be able to actually bring some value to your team. Over here, I just tried to slam dunk her into a side space. That didn't work, but that's okay. I made some other choices. Punching Widow and going in and ulting. This is how you're supposed to kind of ult. As Rogue, you need to be pretty much full health, because if you get stunned and you get hurt a bit, like I did over here just now, it's not gonna go well. You wanna go and slam down and ult. Maybe even ult beforehand. Sometimes you get stunned by Luna or whatever, which would not be pretty much optimal when you're trying to absorb the ultimates to make the team fight stop pretty soon. Here I've noticed that there was only one support for a little bit, but then I kind of missed my chance and Cloak and Dagger could escape. What I'm doing now is farming ultimate and trying to kill someone. I'm kind of confused why I didn't fling... what's her name? Invis up there? But it doesn't really matter, honestly. Right now I'm going back into the fight, going back into the backline, using a whole lot of abilities on Cloak and Dagger, and I get to actually get one of the better abilities, which is the bubble. When using the bubble, it can be pretty useful to just have a little self-healing in case your supports are not able to heal you immediately. So absorbing that kind of ability is really smart. This part is where I'm gonna be struggling a little bit. Sometimes I get myself a little bit disoriented. That's fine though. That's what playing this game is kind of all about. Being disoriented because there's too much shit going on. I've had enough. I'll ult, and usually you try to separate one of the supports from the other to have a little bit of a better chance to kill them in your ultimate. So they can't ult, they can't heal each other, and you'll just kind of escape. Now, this was a pretty smart play going for the health pack and stuff, but I got stunned and just got taken out. So sometimes that just happens, and yeah. As a dive tank, you also have to kind of sometimes look out for health packs and know where health pack locations are. When playing this game for a little bit, you should know for like every map where the approximate location for a health pack, like right there on the left. But you're also pretty much in spawn, so it doesn't really matter. Over there. Here, don't be scared to just use your stun whenever, like, to just normally stun someone. It's really useful to just get them killed then. So yeah, you don't always have to do it just to get that ability, even though that is kind of the fun part about it. Right now I am just using my dash to go upwards. I hope you saw that, because I think that was Southern Brawl. So Southern Brawl and any other ability, do not be scared to not use them for fighting, to get out of there. You are basically just a whole lot of dashes. So that's what you kind of have to watch out for. And to use them accordingly when you need to. Some people say that you shouldn't never use like ability absorption as a dash to get out of or somewhere. I'd say use it, but as a last resort. Quite often you might be out of dashes completely and not be able to get any more distance between you and the enemy team, or like get behind covers. So that might be your last chance. And hey, if you still die, at the end it didn't really matter then if you used it or not. I show another example of just now I went to go and get to the magic because I had my sound on. Again, I don't get why some people don't play this with sound. You definitely should, because it's like really important to play with sound. You'll be able to hear footsteps of enemies and just easily know where to go and, you know, leave. Have like cues such as ultimate abilities. Like my whole team was dead over there and there was a Cloak and Dagger ult, so I just had to kind of go back and retreat. Now we're just waiting for a portal here. Just standing in front of Strange to try and block someone who tries to stun him or try to push him or kill him. Then I go in through the portal. Usually I would go immediately, but this time it wasn't that important. See, I just used ability absorption to get away. You can look at that again if you'd like. And I just reposition myself so I'd be fine from any damage until I have to cause overtime with my ultimate ability. As Rogue, when you're alone on point, you just kind of want to dash into the air, but not too high, and just try to move as rapidly and as confusingly as possible, so people have actually trouble to hitting you, and this is how you can keep overtime for a little bit. Now, we kind of had a bit of issue here, and I realized that Rogue might not be the play, and my other teammates, you know, could be doing better. So, most important part of Rivals, if you suck, use Swab. So, get out of here, Rogue. We're playing Magneto, even though I did end up playing Strange in the end, but that's not important for this guide. There we go, finally, a game where I absolutely cleared with Rogue. I did not play any other characters. I mean, I think I might have at some point, like for a millisecond I tried to play Strange to make a portal, but then that wasn't even necessary, so... Here, I'm just standing on the card and using my stun to let Captain America stay here and to potentially kill him. It did not work, that's okay. If I take a little bit of damage, I sometimes like to back off or just keep on going and hope I get healed. Now I used my kick to use as piercing damage. This does not go through shields, but if it would, that would have still been good. It was good regardless, because I did get some damage. Now this part was a little confusing. It's a little confusing to watch, but it wasn't that important. I was just punching shit. I was stunning Invis to keep her there, and so she can't get away. Another thing you should probably do. I mean, a lot of people do that, but it's like, might not be that common knowledge, especially for people who are new to tank or like new to Rogue. Important, if you don't have to push, don't push as Rogue. You are kind of vulnerable as this tank. It's a 5-star difficulty after all. So just kind of push the card if you'd like, but don't push into the enemy team if you don't have to. If your team is taking care of everything, you can sometimes just sit on the card and push for a little bit. Although that is like the most boring part of this game. Here again, you need to peel for Captain America, which I did, or tried to do. And I could have just tried to use one of my dashes and waste it to just be closer and faster to the enemy team. That doesn't make any sense. Here, I realize I have my ult and I get ready to ult. However, I get extremely close to death because of these goddamn people and how much damage they do. But I still pull something good off. I get a triple and was able to steal some ultimate charge from some people. My Invis wasted her ult here, but I didn't really care in that moment. We were just gonna hopefully get to the next checkpoint pretty soon. Now here I heard that there was Strange and such above, so I tried to get up there, but then I also realized that they ulted, so it might have been a better time to just leave. Loki saved me with his lamps here. I stunned Namor, and it's still time to leave. There's too many enemies over there, and we got kind of overwhelmed. Then you have to, of course, wait a little bit, and then probably go back into the front lines and punch attacks a little bit. Hulk can be a little bit annoying if he's really good. Here I'm trying to follow Strange because I'm thinking he's about to portal. I didn't have one of my dashes ready, so that was a bit of an awkward situation with Hulk. I got his shield pretty early on, using it to help myself, and I stopped trying to follow the Hulk because this is literally the spawn. Someone else goes in though, tries to hurt him. I don't think he ends up dying, but my team does push him back, so I don't have to also go in there and push him. That would just kind of be a waste of time and just kind of like be unnecessary. Because look, we made it pretty much 2-point, and if I wasn't standing on there, we might have not, and I think we might have been able to clutch there, at least for a little bit. So yeah. Now I'm not sure why my Groot ulted here, but we ended up getting one of the supports, and Spider-Man finished off this Hela that I got low for a bit. Now I was initially trying to go for this Namor here, but then I realized I was getting low and I had to get out of there. Again, I dash over the enemy, so just in case I don't accidentally get into Hulk and he might kill me, but even though he probably wouldn't have. The thing about dashing is, as Rogue, is quite often if two characters dash into each other, they will just kind of collide and stun each other. You can quite often use that as your to your advantage, although it can be pretty annoying. Like when it happens to you. Here I was just waiting for the ult to end so I can potentially go back in or just try to defend against Hulk. I keep on stunning him, so it's a little more easier for my team to kill him, and he can't really do much when he's stunned. My Invis ults here, and I just try to go for the backline, but I'm kind of overestimating, and they all try to focus me, so that was not that good of a play, but I was still doing good. I am ace here, I am 14-1, so this is kind of proof that playing Rogue can work pretty well. Try to go for the ulting Punisher, and quite often you can overwhelm him and then kill him unless his supports are just constantly actively looking at him. So it might just be better to retreat and get the hell out of there. Like I did right here with my abilities. Try to use them smartly. Hulk was coming for me. I dash up to try and disorientate him. At least I hope that was I was doing. I probably just looked like an idiot. To get out of spawn, you should be able to use like Sovereign Brawl and your Chrono Kick. These are not, those cooldowns should be ready by the time you get back to the fight most of the time. I ult here when my Groot ulted and also got a final hit on Invis. Using what's it called? Rogue's ult can just easily give you like a little bit of time to see, oh, this person has that ult ready, I need to tell my team that they should get ready for that, or just tell them to maybe play a little more safely until we have our support ult. All of this is like precious intel and important calls you can make. I don't, because I play with randoms, so I just didn't really make any callouts. Over there, just now you also saw me cancel going into the ult, or like going to cut point because there was an ult. So, and as soon as Hulk ults, I have my stun ready. So it's all about cooldown management. You just need to be able to have everything ready, like sometimes things ready, and when you don't have anything ready, just go hide. Or if there's like a big ult. Here I go in for another dive to try and get the support. I get her low, but she doesn't die, so that was a little annoying. So I just keep going, keep trying to punch. Then the enemy Invis ults, and all I do is try to push him back into spawn, so they can't really help the team all too much. Groot tries to help me with that too. He puts some walls up, but it's a little futile. The whole enemy team is there. I think at this point I switched to Strange because we only have a few seconds left, and I want to have a clutch portal. However, this was absolutely not necessary, and my team just handled it perfectly. So, one little thing about Rogue is also, in quick play you can usually risk just soul tanking her. It's not that difficult to quite often do soul tank as her. Although it is a whole lot nicer if you do have a second tank. I'm not sure what it exactly does, it just... That second tank can usually also just kind of peel for the supports when you don't have time to, or your supports can also just gain their ultimates faster, you know, than with just one tank. It's all about being able to heal more. So 2 tanks is usually always better than 1 tank. Usually I would go here for the strategy to just stand in front of the card and just stop it for the beginning amount of time, but I don't really wanted to risk it this time because this was really serious and I just wanted to do good for my team and not just die for no reason. Right now I'm trying to go here for the Hulk because he's trying to get my team. He has to use his bubble and I try to get some shots at his supports to apply a little bit of pressure. Hulk dies here, gets revived by the BRB though, and is back in battle. I just keep on punching him and using my abilities on him without struggle. They had a support ultimate, so I just go up and punch it, being also aware where it is and also doing damage to it. Even though you are a melee character is important, you just do as best as you can. I ult in this moment and just try to go for the supports. Sometimes it can suck a little if you accidentally used your dashes already before in an unnecessary situation. Right now the supports are kind of focused on me, so that allowed my team to gain a little bit of an upper hand and kill 2 people. One got revived though because I was a little stupid and I don't think I broke the beacon. I could go back to the supports and try to get this rocket. He's a little obnoxious and Hulk just immediately obliterates me because I think he's kinda sick of me. Just constantly stunning him. With the whole team lined up there, you want to have a little bit of cover nearby, so you can potentially just get out of there when you need to. Now, I wasn't getting that low in that situation, but it is still scary when you see a whole lot of enemies just over there and just constantly applying pressure to you. I also don't want to overwhelm my supports by constantly needing heals. I just decide to dash into them, and luckily my Invis uses her ult. Not sure if this was really the moment to ult, but she did save me with that, so I am kind of thankful for that. I now try to go for the enemy Invis. I do some damage. I almost get her, but then people get in my way and she heals herself. Luckily, Spider-Man is there to save the day and help me kill a few people. This goddamn raccoon gets away though, and I try to hold point for a little bit, because when you can and your whole team is dead, don't just try to... Unless you're really full health and you have good abilities to escape, go escape. But sometimes it's just better to kind of hold the point a little bit, even though you might get a little staggered, like only you. So your team has more time to group up again and potentially have a little solid formation. Right here, I'm a little unsure to go in or not, because there's an amplifier going and the main entrance is just kind of blocked. I decide to do something else. I decide to go to the side axis finally and try to dash onto point last second, but that doesn't work and they reach it. This was a nice attempt though. I should have just been a little faster. I could have used another ability to get on there and potentially ult. That's what I could have done. But I only ult when I know that I'm actually in the clear and I have done something useful, which I did not do there. I immediately stun the thing here and try to then go for his supports after using my damage reduction ability. I ult, but sadly Hulk was able to kind of shield his supports with his bubble, so Invis is able to ult. I do end up getting this Hela though, so I'm pretty proud of that one. I get a little damage here, decide to turn back, but my supports are luckily right there to heal me, and I get to kill this Namor. This thing ended up, for some reason, being on point, so we just got him. And that was pretty simple. It starts again with Hulk getting in there. I try to push him into my team a little bit, but he then just leaves. Our Invis ults, and so I decide to just go rampant and just fight as much as possible. On the word of going rampant, this is something you should totally do when you're like in ult and you have enough HP. To just punch the shit, use your abilities, unless it's just not a possibility, or it's just that's something you should go for. Rocket right there got fucked over by the very little space he had to try and escape. It would not have made sense to for him to try and retreat back into the structure itself, because that would have just kind of fucked him over. I would have just followed him, or potentially he could have escaped like that, but it would have taken more time. Now on this point, I have my ult, and I'm already like thinking and scheming on what to do next. I try to go for Hulk initially, go into point, dash, and ult accordingly. This gives my team enough time to actually go up there, because everyone has decided to shift focus onto me, and there's no one actually looking at my team anymore. My Invis is able to ult, their Invis ulted, and I'm just punching the supports, trying to get some kills, trying to get some damage, and trying to overwhelm them a little bit. Of course, I try to help out my Bucky here. Okay, I guess I don't, but I should have, and then he would have had another reset, but it is what it is. We successfully pushed them back, and with that, that's a little example on how to use your ult and how your ult can be used to help your team out. Of course, it would have been kind of fatal if I got like stunned twice, or like just once kind of there, but yeah. They end up portaling, and have to kind of fight them and the supports. I tried to go for the amplifier up there, but then I didn't really make it that high. I try a second time once I have my chrono kick again, and I just go on point and just dash down there. I try to go for the Hela here. She stuns me sadly, and so I can't really stun her, and then she just kills me. I showed the scoreboard here a little bit. I am currently 30-8 with 12 final hits and 23k damage. I try my best to get on point. I end up getting on point, and I fight a little bit. I try to do my little strategy. I get hit by an Hela ult though, and that was just kind of the end for me. So we're going for the usual strategy as soon as we go out. Try to push card at first, and then see what else happens. But of course, when Hulk comes, you try to attack him, try to push him back, do a little bit of damage. See, this was one example of two tanks trying to dash into each other, or just trying to dash, and they just kind of stun each other. Now see, I was taking a whole lot of damage there because I was behind the wall, and I was able to get out of there luckily, and just survive. Here I keep going. I try to get Bucky separated a little bit from his support so he isn't as close, but then I end up taking a whole lot of damage because of it, and I get killed. Luckily, my Rocket was able to revive me, and I end up trying to deal with the Hulk and the other Strange on point. Now at this point, I'm trying to shift focus back to a little bit to point, because it's about to be overtime and I can't really leave point otherwise. I still do, and I try to get the Invis. Invis dies by some other force. It's Cosmic Force. Just kidding, it's Star-Lord. I punched the tank here. I'm punching Hulk here, even though there was an ult going on, but he still took damage, so that was good. I stun him here so we can take care of him quickly, but he then decides to ult just now. We're still able to kill him. Star-Lord had used his ult, and we are able to keep going. Although Spider-Man did try to get on point, I was able to skillfully be able to kick him out of the air and just get him off point for a little bit. Just like same I do with Hela. Spider-Man ulted here, I benefit a little bit from it, just helped him finish off that Invis. Although you could say I kind of stole that, but like everyone always steals my kills, so I don't give a fuck. Hela ults right here, so I'm a little hesitant to move. Luckily, Strange decides to go up and help with that, and I just kind of take care of the diver over here. He escapes, and we just keep on going. I keep trying to deal with him because he's obviously on point and he's trying to get on my supports. He ends up escaping, sadly, but I still try to fight his teammate, for example. Strange decides to ult in this exact moment, and luckily I picked up his shield, and I was able to protect my support from getting any damage. So this is a little hint. Use those abilities as if they were your own. If you want to master Rogue, you want to master those abilities that you always take. Some are more difficult than others, but usually it's just one button press, one smart movement, and it's pretty much over. And you did what you had to do with that ability. Or sometimes you fail. That happens with abilities. Now, Hulk is getting in there. I tried to stop him by dashing into him, but he could just kind of get past me. Now I'm trying to like take care of the amplifier, and literally no one else is helping me with that. So I just punched it. I'm the one melee character punching the fucking amplifier. I try to take care of the tanks over here because going in for the supports would have not been the smartest idea. There's a new amplifier, and so there's a new problem. I decided to ult here because if we didn't have a support ult in the moment, I was like, okay, time to try and hold point for a little bit and do a bunch of damage. So I tried to punch Ping here. I didn't realize that it was still a Loki rune that was helping him a little bit. I stun him here, and luckily I get him and get a triple. Strange sorting up the shield. We successfully make it to the second point. I try to take care of Hulk anytime he's near, and just in general try to stun him as soon as he ults, for example, so I just kind of waste his time with his ult. Ult time is pretty precious, so if you get stunned in it, it's awful, and you just really just get frustrated with it. I try to deal with the tanks, try to deal with Hela a little bit. There's a whole lot of damage. My Invis does not end up surviving, and we get team wiped. At this point, I am 42 and 11. That is still pretty good in my opinion. I couldn't see how many finals I had, but I just had a good amount of final hits. Now I stick with my usual strategy. I use my abilities to get out of spawn. You can technically also use Fatal Attraction if you're like really goddamn impatient of getting out of spawn. But since this has a 30-second cooldown, it can be. You might not have it as soon as the match is ready, even though most of the time you don't really need it as soon as the match is ready, so who cares really. Now, at this point in time, I actually do try to go up to the cart and stop it for a little bit before the match, as soon as the match starts, so they don't immediately get some kind of head start. You're gonna see why though, that was not the best idea of all time. I tried to go for a Hulk here. I could have just went back, but I was full health, so I was fine for now. I then tried to go back and try to get healed. However, it did not work out that well, so they do end up killing me, but for now, I'm the only one who's dead on my team. They're able to get some nice kills, so I'm glad I can rely on my team sometimes when I'm not there. I finally get back, and I decide to try and deal with the Psylocke that's over here. I end up killing her easily. Even though she did go invisible, I knew she couldn't have moved much, so I just aimed for the same kind of spot that she was last time. I take the Hulk, I take him out back to his invis, try to get the invis. In the end, I get pushed away, someone else gets the kill though. Loki is still on point, so I kill him, and then there's the Psylocke. I decide to follow it, so she doesn't turn into a problem later on, and I successfully predict where she is. So, that's also just kind of like the art of prediction where your enemies are when they're invisible. And we end up winning the game. Isn't this a beautiful, beautiful victory and, of course, MVP screen? I know you would agree. Yeah. So, this was a little bit of gameplay and a little bit of an example on how you should try to play Rogue. I ended up going 48 and 12, and I ended up having 22 final hits with 33k damage, which was a whole lot, which was pretty close to actually the most amount of damage. So I was doing pretty good. Well, that was pretty much all. I hope you enjoyed. This is all I pretty much know about how to play Rogue. There's nothing else major that I think I've missed. And don't worry, if you keep on practicing, keep on playing her, You too can be a warrior like me.